Hi, it's hot. That's why I'm sweating. So I don't think I have to worry about whether or not I love him, because I am starting to feel some feelings that I don't like. Okay. Like I really, these are some feelings that I really don't want to admit to. But I said that I would talk about them as I'm going through them. And these are the ones that that I think are have been the problem, have been part of the problem in the past. I'm starting to feel this is embarrassing. This is really hard to admit. I think it's because it's happened so often, it's such a fear of mine to be this way. It's so embarrassing, but I'm feeling pretty desperate. Not as bad as it was. It's not like it was. Okay, we're just feeling it. We're just feeling it. That's it. It's just an emotion. It's okay. It's okay. So, what this used to be like, this would be this is very unpleasant. This is very unpleasant. I don't like it at all. In the past. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to. I don't want to do this. I know that's kind of silly and childish to say. I just don't want it. You know what I mean? I just don't want it. In the past, this is when I would be panicking. It would be hitting some stuff, and I think that I've released a little bit of stuff the past couple of days, in the past week or so, 2 weeks. Inside, I've been working on it. Sorry, it's either that or look at my snot. So, before, it would have been right now when I started to panic. And I would be up and... We're not going to panic now, though. Even if we're going to think about how it used to be panic, we're not going to panic now. This is the feeling I was trying to avoid. And it's grief. It's grief and loss. This is the one that would... It starts feeling, it's tight in here. And every once in a while when I talk, it's like I lose my breath. Like I'm talking and the talking stops, but the breath keeps coming out. Like, I don't know what it's like. Don't be upset for me. Okay, that's not what this is about. I don't want anybody saying, like, you're okay, it's alright, you're gonna get through it. I know. That's what it is, like right there. When I said, I'm gonna get through it, I don't want to get through it. I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. I really... See, I'm glad I have you guys, because if I were alone, not that I'm not alone right now. I mean, I'm here, right? I'm by myself in front of the camera. But if I didn't have a reason to stay calm, I don't think right now I would be able to sit back and observe this, because I can't even do it right now. I'm trying. No, I'm not trying. I'm doing. It's a terrible emotion. It's terrible and it hurts. I was thinking about him, and the last time we talked, we were together. We had a really beautiful weekend together, or weekend. I don't know. Yeah, it was last Saturday into Sunday. We had a really nice time, and I had gone over there. Man, I'd gone over there to I don't know what it was to say goodbye again. I had gotten upset at him over the past week because we'd spent the weekend before together, and oh my god, I was getting, it's really hot, that's why I'm sweating, I'm sorry. It's on top of everything else, I'm sweating. I'm gonna turn the fan on. So you might hear the fan in the background. I've been turning the fan off so you wouldn't hear it. But last weekend I went to his house, and I was like, I just want you to know I decided to accept this and move on and blah blah blah. And of course we spent the weekend together. Because why wouldn't you? And over the following week, it just gets so, and it's hard because, he ends up giving mixed signals, because, not because he means to give mixed signals, but because he wants to be with me, and sometimes he fools himself into thinking that he can. So, he'll say something like, oh, next time, blah, blah, blah. And so I was kind of getting used to whatever, I don't know. I made a joke where I was just like, oh, I know we're not together or anything and we're not talking anymore, but, we should think about going to Six Flags sometime. And he wrote back, and this goes back and forth between us all the time, right? He wrote back, I really think that we need to, I can't keep going through this. And that's something I say, and then it's like this thing, he says, oh, next time, and I was like, I can't keep going through this, and then I'm like, next time, and he's like, I can't keep going through this, and it's this cycle. But I was so frustrated, and I just texted him back. I'm like, okay, fine, let's never talk again this time. And that's not something I do. And then we had a text conversation from there that doesn't really matter. But I went down, and we'd had a fight, right? And when I say fight, we never really fought. We could get upset, but it was never a fight. It was just talking about things when you're upset. And so I went down there, and it was very awkward. And I wanted to sit and have a talk, because this was it was feeling like it'd been getting that way. I'd been going back and forth, and every time we got closer to breaking up, but you know, I was like, okay, this is, so I sat down and I was talking to him, and at one point I was just like, okay, well, just let me know when you start looking for someone. And he comes from a culture where sometimes they have arranged marriages, and, you know, he's going back to his country sometime between now and like I don't know when he's going. I just know that he's going for like 3 weeks, and there is a possibility that he could get engaged while he's over there, because that's what they do. They meet each other twice and get engaged. You can only get to know each other once you've been engaged. You can't get to know each other before you're engaged. In that culture. But when I said something like that to him, I was like, well, you know, if you start looking or you get engaged when you go back to your country, you know, just let me know. I just want to know, you know, so that I'm not still, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to be thinking about, oh, maybe in the future, but you know that I'll be thinking, oh, maybe in the future, and I don't want to be thinking that still if you're engaged. You know, like that'll nail in the coffin for me. Probably. And he's like, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're gonna start looking. And he said, you know, I'm really lonely. Because he is. He's a quiet person, and he doesn't make friends easily. And he and I were together. We weren't at work. We were together for 3 years, and that's when he moved up. You know, just slightly after he came up here to Boston. He was living further south. He came up here for a job, and so he never went out and made friends. We just spent all our time together, and so he was like, yeah, I might, you know, I'm really lonely. And so, like, I was like, oh, you know, so of course, you know, I started crying or whatever, and I don't know, it was a whole conversation, I don't need to go into it, but I ended up staying that night, and we had breakfast in the morning, and then I left, and that was pretty much it. And the way we leave each other every time is so sweetly and tenderly. I mean, we love each other a lot. So, I was downstairs just now. I've been thinking about it. Like, you know, I catch myself thinking, well, maybe something will change. Maybe a circumstance that I can't foresee will change. Because the only way right now, the only way that we could be together that is foreseeable at the moment is if something really terrible happens. And that's not something either one of us wants. At all. So, like, barring a miracle, I gotta admit it, right? I have to be honest with myself. I'm really good at not being honest with myself. I'm good at lying to myself. Our entire relationship, I was thinking, well, you know, we're gonna get to the point, we're gonna figure it out. At some point it'll work out. I don't know how it's gonna do it. I don't know when. I mean, up until very recently, that's how I've been thinking. Something will happen so that we can be together. I have this prayer that I say. I wrote it. It's based on something in The Artist's Way. But there's a line in it that always kills me. Not kills me, not always, but like, often it strikes me in my heart. And it's, I trust you will lead me. I trust it is safe and for my good and the good of others to follow. And whenever I say that, and I'm thinking about him, and honestly thinking like, the universe isn't gonna put us together. No matter how much I want it, no matter how much he wants it. Like, the universe isn't gonna do it. And every time I say that line, it just kills me a little inside, because it's like, it's for my good and the good of others. Like, it's for his good. And that's what makes it possible for me, but also what hurts me the most. I want it to be our good. I want it, us being together, to be our good. I have to go get more tissues. Because guess who goes through boxes of tissues? Where are they? Oh, got a whole bunch of... So, you know, it started to hit me. Like, it's, oh, it hurts. Like, it hurts. Like, oh, that hurts. Yep, I'm doing this on Facebook Live. Like, I have to believe it, right? It'd be really easy to just let myself not believe it. It would be so easy to just say, well, you don't know. You know, and I mean, the way I've been getting through it up until now is saying, like, well, the future will take care of itself, right? If we're supposed to be together, we'll be together. If not, we'll both be happier. And right now, I just gotta, and this is good advice, like, I just gotta focus on the moment and presently and do what I need to do to move myself forward in my life and create my business. And, you know, and that's all true. But the part of that I've been clinging on to is the, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be part. And I don't think it's a good idea for me to keep thinking that. I don't know. I don't want to hold on to it. Because that'll just, that'll just keep it going. But I don't know what I should be doing. I don't know what I should be thinking to help myself best through this. It's probably not, maybe it'll happen. It's probably not the best idea to think. If it's meant to be, it'll be. You know, who knows in the future? Those are the things your friends say to you to try and make you feel better, console you, but that's not what's going to help in the end, is it? Is it? You know, part of me just wants to say, like, well, what if he does? What if it does work out? And I'm going through all this pain for nothing. Maybe I should just... And I shouldn't. This is grief. This is grief. And this is the feeling I got panicked around. And there has to be something I can do about it. There has to be something I can do about it. That was the thought, like, what what can I do? What's the next thing I can do? And if I were back then, if it were me back then, right now, I'd text or I'd call. I'd be trying anything. Yeah. I'll be down in a little bit, okay? So, I'd be trying anything to change it. You know, and it never helps. That operating and acting from that place never ended well. You know, maybe it would end in a temporary, like, whatever, sleep together or something like that, but that's not what you want. That's not what I want. It would be so easy, guys. It would be so easy for me to just text or call or go down there. I mean, I don't think it would be a problem for me to go and have another night down there. I don't know. Maybe he's at the same point too, where it's like we just have to. I don't know, but okay. You know what? We're just gonna have to go through it. Okay. It's a terrible feeling. And I keep pushing it away. I'm not allowing it to come because it's scary. It's scary. I don't want it. But what's the problem, right? What really is going to happen? I'm just going to feel terrible. That's it. It's not going to kill me. It's just not going to feel good. And I don't like it, but that doesn't matter. Because that's just the way it is. Oh God, like, like trying to accept this is really hard. It's like, it comes in like a wave. It's like, you know, I'm like, okay, and then like the thought occurs to me, like the actual, it penetrates for just a second, it penetrates that this is reality. That we're not gonna be together for the rest of our lives. This is what the reality is. And that is like, that like takes your breath away. And then you push it away. And maybe that's the way you get through it, right? A little bit at a time. I don't know. But I do know that if I were to allow myself to, I would be, I would not be a good sight right now if I just allowed that feeling to take over. But is that something you do? Do you let the feeling take over and just feel it? I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know where to put it. Like, it comes, I gotta observe it, right? That's it. Excuse me, I know it's gross, but you would rather this than see the snot coming out of my nose. Okay, ready? Okay. I'm feeling a very hot feeling behind my face. I don't know how to describe it. intention, right? It's just my it's just a feeling. Okay, I gotta do something other than just cry. Okay. I keep taking myself out of it because it sucks, but okay. I don't even know how to describe the physical feeling of it. It's not really a physical feeling. What is that then, right? If it's not a physical feeling, what is an emotion? Like, because I was always paying attention to not always, but I think I was more distracted by the physical feelings of it because it stabbed and it hurt and it just pulled everything out of me. And I think it might do that soon too. No. But right now, what is it like? What is it like? What is this? How do you describe this, right? Like, there's fear, there's anxiety, there's grief and sadness, and regret, not regret, but just wishing things could be different. Like, what are these? Earlier when I was feeling them in my body, it was easier to describe. But right now, I mean, it's here, right? But I guess it's just energy, right? It's just the energy I'm feeling. And feeling energy is different than feeling physical. Feeling the energy is different than feeling physical feelings, right? Because this is an emotion, is energy. It's energy. That's what's happening. It's unpleasant energy equals sad energy. Like aching. It's scared. It's fear. I'm scared. I'm scared. So, what am I scared of, right? I know, it's gross. I know. So what am I scared of? I'm scared of not living my life with him. I'm scared of not having him. Because I do love him so much. And we're such a big part of each other's lives. And we love each other so much. And it's so unfair. So there's anger too. It's so unfair. And it's such a strange, it's a correlating thing, right? It's okay, hang on, right? Remember, relax the shoulders, relax my body, because even though it doesn't feel like it's in my body, and it's just energy, but I am clenching parts of my body. So we have to relax those parts of my body and just let the energy flow through it, right? But it's fear. I'm scared. I'm scared. And I don't know what. I'm scared of spending my life without him. That's all I can, like, I mean, it's not, people say, oh, there's plenty of fish in the sea, and it's like, yeah, no, duh. I'm not operating from a place of scarcity right now. It's not that I don't think I'll find anybody else. I mean, to a degree, yeah. When you're in love with someone, you don't think you'll find anybody you love as much as that person, but your logical mind can say, well, you don't think that now.
But it's not a lack, it's not a scarcity thing, it's not a like, oh, I'll never find anybody else again thing. It's I want to be with him. God. So I'm relaxing my shoulders. Okay, relaxing my shoulders. It's like, I don't know, it's not a physical feeling, like it's an emotional feeling, but what is that? Like, it's energy. I just keep repeating myself until it's, relax my shoulders, breathe, observe, don't get involved with it. Let's remember that. Observe the thoughts, observe the feelings. Don't get involved. Just look at them. They're there, and they're gonna affect me. And it's not gonna be pleasant. It's not gonna be pleasant. I feel where the desperate feeling comes from. And I see that I could easily let myself get swept up in that right now. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Because if I do that now, it's never gonna end. This is my opportunity, and the universe is granting it to me to heal myself. That desperate feeling, there's no logical reason for it. What am I desperate about? I'll let you know what I'm desperate about. I'm desperate because that's coming in and hitting other stuff. We all have our issues. And like, we can say, oh, it's cliche to talk about, you know, things that happened in your past with your childhood and whatever. But the reason people say that so often is because it's true. And what it is it's coming in and it's hitting my abandonment issues. Something I didn't really get a chance the 15 years I saw my therapist. And she really wanted to cover it too, but I was always pushing it away. I was adopted. And I'm very proud of that fact. And my family handled it beautifully. I feel special because I'm adopted. And I'm grateful and glad that I was. At the same time, you are formed in your biological mother's body, listening to her voice. And, you know, like, I mean, that's like a pretty natural connection. So then you come into the world, and there's this woman whose body you've been in forever. And granted, you know, you're this big and whatever, you're crying, you're wailing, whatever. But you recognize your mother's voice. And 5 days after I was born, I was taken from my biological mother. And it was good. It's good. Alright, it's good. I was adopted by very wonderful people. And they really made me feel special about this. So it's not the adoption that I have a problem with. What happens is you're an infant and you're taken away from your mother. And when you're an infant, being taken away from your mother equals death. Right? I mean, that's how we evolved. Like, your mom, you gotta get her attention and she's gonna come and take care of you because you're this, like, helpless creature. So that's, like, one of the first feelings I felt in life. And obviously I can't remember it. But that's how it works with children, right? And it's the cornerstone of anybody who's adopted their abandonment issues, right? Because even if you don't remember it, you still felt it, and those feelings are gonna be pretty impactful, right? So that, on top of the fact that as much as my father loved me and loves me, he had his own issues and did not treat me the way you would want to be treated by the man who shows you how men are supposed to treat you. And that gave me this desperation because I was always looking for his love. So those are the two biggies, right? Those are the two biggies. And now I'm breaking up with this man that I am very much in love with, but in a really sweet and healthy way. It was wonderful. And who wants to be with me? And I'm feeling these feelings of desperation, right? And I know we all feel that way when we break up with people, but where it's been a problem for me in the past is that I start feeling, even though logically I don't know it, even though logically I know that it's, like I keep saying this, even though logically I know it's not going to kill me, and it's not even really a thought that it's going to kill me, but my body is reacting like this means death. And you have to fix it. You have to do something. You have to do something. But it turns out that the only thing you can do is let yourself feel it. Because you can't change what's on the outside. If I could, it would have already happened. It's been 3 years. The situation has been, the circumstances have been as they are for the past 3 years, and no matter how we try and work our way around it, it's not going to happen. And if it were going to happen, it would have happened. And it doesn't matter if I say to myself, maybe, this is the thing, I say things like, okay, so he's gonna go away, and he's going to go back to his home country for 3 weeks, see his family, see his mom and his sister, and I'm really happy for him. I'm actually really happy for him because he's been lonely and he's been sad, and he gets to go back to his home country and see a sister he hasn't seen that for like 5 years, and meet a nephew he's never met. So it's exciting for him, and I'm really happy. And yeah, he might get engaged over there. This is the most absurd thing. But what I keep saying to myself is, maybe this time away will make him realize this is the shit that we tell ourselves, right? This is the shit you tell your friends. Maybe while he's away, he'll realize that actually he should do what he needs to do to be with me, because being without me is worse. Or that he'll come back and that while he's in Egypt, he'll do the thing that he needs to do to be with me, or try to. or something. Somehow, like, he'll realize. But you know what? I just have to I have to stop saying that. Like, even just explaining it to you. Because when I say it, I feel it like it's a hope. So, that's not something we should do. That's not a thought we should entertain. And it's not something that I should speak about, because as I was saying the other day, your words matter, right? You listen to yourself. And if I say something like that, I'm keeping that part of me alive that wants it to happen, that's holding on to it, and that's holding on to it, right? That's holding on. And that's the opposite of what we're trying to do with this whole thing. The whole thing, this whole reason is to learn to let go and accept something you can't change. And that has not been my forte, but that is what I am learning to do. Not I need to learn. That is what I am learning to do. And it's gonna be up and down, right? Like, I mean, I can't expect it to just, like, I was actually thinking, like, yesterday and early this morning, like, oh, I'm not really feeling anything. Maybe I'm just over it. Like, okay, well, I guess it's not that bad. Again, you don't want to see the snot. I have to blow my nose. Like, oh, okay, like, well, maybe, you know, it'd been, well, years we've been trying to break up, but more intensely in the past several months, we've been breaking up and getting back together, breaking up. And, you know, I was thinking, well, maybe I've just done most of my morning. And you know, I'll be sad for a little while. I was actually thinking, like, oh my God, like, should I try and be sad for longer? Because I feel like I should be sad for longer. Not that I wasn't sad, but you know what I mean, like, the bad feelings. Not the sad is a good feeling, but I think you understand what I mean. And it's, so this is a good thing. I mean, that shows all of us out there in Facebook land that the emotions come and go, they fluctuate, and that throughout all of it, we just have to sit with it and observe it, which isn't a very exciting Facebook Live to watch. But see, the thing is, right now I'm calming down, yes. But I know it's gonna hit again. And I'm scared of it. I'm scared of it. I don't want it. But now we're going in a circle. Okay. We're gonna break our habits. Right? It hurts to do so, and a large part of me does not want to do it. Like, a large part of me wants to hold on to the old way of reacting, because for some reason in my head, I think that that's gonna solve the problem. Or, like, this is another thing. This is a big one. So in past breakups too, I have felt thanks, Brooke. Love you. So in the past, in relationships, after they've broken up, I have held on to the pain for a lot longer than I should have. And even when friends of mine have died, I hold on to the pain because at least it's like the only thing I have left of them. And at least if I have the pain, I have something that's them. I have that part of me inside. I keep that part of me inside that's them. You know? That's not a healthy way to live your life. But I mean, I've held on to pain for years because of that. Just thinking that thought, like, I don't want to let them go. And at least if I have this pain, they're still in my life. Like, what the hell kind of thought is that? But it's the thought you have. It's the thought I have. We're not saying you. I'm not putting words in your mouth. It's the thought that I have. Yeah, it's lovely. So, there's that. There's that fear that if I let go of the pain, that's just one more step to losing him. But I've already lost him. Relax my shoulders. Okay. So there's like a tightness going down my back. And I keep catching my breath and holding it. And there's pressure. I can feel myself because I'm holding my breath and because I'm tightening up. I can feel this pressure go into my face, and this is something that happens to me when I'm very upset. I get red and blotchy. My face gets red very easily. And I can feel this pressure, right, as it comes up and comes out my face. And I want to hold it because I don't want to show you that I'm crying, but I mean, obviously, let's just be real here. Let's just let it all hang out. It's hard. It is hard not to hold your breath, not to hold my breath, right? Because it's like any other pain. It's like any other pain where you receive it and you hold your breath, you tighten your entire body. It's like any other pain. You tighten, you tense. And that's what we're not doing. We are going to just observe it. Not get involved. See, the thing is, then the thoughts come, right? The thoughts about how... But see, here's where I don't know where the line is. Like, I don't want to get involved in the thoughts, and I don't want to get involved in the feelings. I just want to allow myself to observe them. But if I'm not gonna think it out, if I'm not gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, he's gone, then we're never gonna be together ever again. If I don't allow myself to think those thoughts, isn't that avoiding the pain? I don't want to avoid. See, that's where it starts to get confusing. I'm trying to learn to deal with this in a healthy way, but who the fuck knows what a healthy way is? Maybe healthy people. But this whole experience is going to be a lot of trial and error. Oh man, can't I just know? Can't I just know? Can I just know what to think and how to deal with this? I mean, doesn't it hurt enough? Isn't it difficult enough to have to go through the feelings, then also trying to figure out how to cope with them in a way that's not destructive, in a way that doesn't make everything worse? Because that's all it's ever done. Up until now, every time I break up with somebody, I operate from a place of panic, pure panic. And the only thing that can possibly do when you're operating from that place is make things worse. And yet, here I am. My best narrator voice, Brooke. Okay, we can try that. Oh my god, I've got it all over my hands. Hey, Brookie, you want to come on camera with me? See if I can do this. Hey, everybody, I'm trying to bring Brooke Alexander on camera. She's my friend, like best friend from high school. And she is a psychology nurse. I'm bringing you on camera. No answer from the live video guest, Brooke. So, that's the question. Like, oh, you're in the dark. I don't know how I'm supposed to, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. If I'm not gonna panic and freak out, how do phones work? Let me try again, Brooke. I'm gonna hit this thing called bring on camera, bring them on camera, add, and there should be something popping up that you can press. I don't know how phones work. It's magic. It's devil's magic. But it would be really nice to have you on here. But when I'm operating from this new place, and I don't know what to do with this feeling. If I'm not gonna freak out and have a panic attack and like do something stupid like call or text. And the thing is with this relationship, it would be stupid, but it wouldn't, because I'm not doing it. Yes, be in my video, Brooke. Where are you? Try that again. Where is it? Proof. There we go. There's already a guest in this broadcast? What is happening? Ugh. Alright, you know what? Try and add me again. Because I think you would be a very good person to have on my special show. So I'm not sure what to do. If I'm not gonna panic and if I'm not gonna do something stupid, how do you handle this? Because it's a lot of energy that needs to go somewhere. I mean, I guess work out? I don't know. I'm gonna try one more time, Brooke.
Maybe that worked.
Yes!
Such technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. It's so good to see you.
You too. The dog's here too.
Oh,
There we go. There we go.
how you doing?
Good. Guess a little bit better than you're doing today.
Well, I mean, actually, I don't know. I'm starting to deal with things. I mean, you know my past. You're very familiar.
Yes.
With my past. You're like the most familiar.
I've been in all the dark corners of your brain.
Yes. From the time that we were 14. So I am going through this thing right now where I am trying to learn to deal with my pain in a more constructive way than I have in the past. And I'm going through this breakup where we're in love and we want to plan a life together, but because of certain circumstances, we can't. And it's finally come to the point where it's gonna be over.
Especially if I feed him to a crocodile.
Good idea.
You know, it's weird because they say practice makes perfect, but I find the more times you break up with a guy, the more it hurts. It's just the weirdest thing. It's like practice just makes it worse.
Practice totally makes it worse. They're totally
It does.
wrong. Yeah. So what what do you think you do with this as a psychiatric nurse? What would
Well,
you advise?
technically I just took a new job, so I'm actually the booking nurse at a jail. So we probably don't want to bring my job into this. But so but as a friend and as somebody who has a lot of experience with snot coming out of my own face over people who it's all going to come out. It's going to come out of orifices that you didn't know you had. There's going to be tears. There's going to be snot. There could be vomiting. Ultimately, the postnasal drip will come down. It will upset your stomach. You might shit yourself. But this is all good because you need to get it out. Because healing is never pretty. It's like they say, it's got to hurt to heal. You know, I think, honestly, when I watch friends go through ends of relationships and rebuilding themselves after ends of relationships, and my own experience doing it too, I'm reminded of the heroin addicts that I've watched go through withdrawal. It's actually a very similar process because you've got shit just coming out of you every which way. Really, the snot, the sweat, the tears, the just excretions, and it hurts everywhere. Muscles are clenching that didn't used to exist. You feel weak. You feel like gravity's been turned up. You feel like the world is spinning, and all you want is another fix. But you know, that's why you're going through detox again when you already went through it last month and the month before that. And you're just going through it over and over. You know that the drug you'd like give your right arm for it right now. You know it's also the reason you feel like shit. And you just have to find a way to force yourself to just let it all come out this one last time. And don't try to put any of the same thing back to replace it.
As always, you're super right. It just feels so final, and I know it has to. But like,
and the thing is, that's what you should be hoping for, because as bad as it hurts, it's going to happen again and again and again, unless this is your last detox.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But the problem, like just like with addiction, and maybe we need to talk about love in terms of addiction, because in our society, we idealize and we fairy tale love. So we expect the happily ever after. We never expect that when we're talking about addiction. And love is addiction, really, because you've got your brain and your body chemicals. They're all responding. You've got built-in habits. So there's lots of components when you're coming off a drug. One is the physical detox, and you look like you're going through it right now. You do, and I'm sure you feel like you're going through it right now. But then when you get through that, there's not only that craving of the good feeling that you remember, because like we somehow managed to magically forget the shitty feeling you're feeling right now, and you like think about that high. But there's also the fact that your coping skills, you know, because detox is a stressor, trying to rebuild a life is a stressor. And where did you go to deal with the stressors before? The drug, the dude. Just like you're saying, you know, you would deal with this by texting him in the past. So you have to find a whole new way of dealing with horrible stressors while you're dealing with them. And it's freaking hard. And you got to give yourself credit for that.
I mean, I know this is pathetic. I just really don't want it to be over.
Yeah.
Like, it's just unfair. But it's reality, and this is the issue, right? This is the issue.
Yep.
It's reality, and I have to accept it. And that's never been, that's never been something I'm good at.
No, that's why we're friends, Jenny.
I'll admit that, Brooke. I do know that you've had your flights of fancy as well.
It's true. My fanciful flights of fancy that crashed and burned into a mountainside. But look, I survived those.
True that.
And honestly, while this probably feels like your lowest low,
It'll get lower.
I've been a long time viewer, and I know it's not your lowest low. I know you've climbed out of pits deeper than this one.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know, you know what the thing is, like, this is something I've been sort of talking about on these Facebook Lives. It's horrible, and I don't like it, but it's this opportunity that I have to learn how to cope with it in a different way and to go through it. I mean, it's not something I'm like psyched about to do in front of, not that I have millions of viewers, but it's not something I'm psyched to do on Facebook Live, but I'm trying to help people who have the same problem, right? Who are out of a depression for the first time in like a decade and don't know how to deal with these emotions without slipping back into it. So that's I don't even know why I was saying that.
Yeah.
So it's not
Words flow like snot.
I know this isn't, it's quite clearly not the worst I've ever been. Like, you and I know. You and I have been there.
Yes.
And it's an improvement, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And most of the time, even though I'm sad, I'm feeling pretty good about it because I'm not accepting it. That's why. I'm still in this like fairyland of like, well, maybe, but I'm not even gonna say that anymore. It's like okay, it's over. It's really over.
At least for this lifetime. Although he better get his shit together before his next lifetime if he wants to get with you again.
We'll see. We'll see about that. Thank you.
Hey, you've been there for me.
It's really nice to see you. I miss you.
I miss you too.
And you're right, it really is like an addiction. Like last week when I went and saw him, it was like this feeling of relief. You know what I mean? Release and joy. It's like, and you fool yourself into thinking like, it's okay that I do this.
Followed by a feeling of what the fuck did I just do to myself again?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you feel like, oh, well, it's just relieving the pain. You know, it's not a big deal. It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time in our relationship that I'm actually accepting this as a reality. Because it's something, I mean, it's something he's told me about the whole time. You know that.
Yeah.
But it's something we were both fooling ourselves that we could get past. You know, and he's even toyed with it. He's even toyed with the idea of doing what he needs to do to be with me. But he's not going to.
Which, by extension, was toying with you.
Yeah, but it's also toying with himself.
I'm okay with him toying with himself. He can play with himself all he wants.
He's a pretty remarkable person. And I want him to be happy.
Okay.
Can we please just like him? He is a nice guy.
I have to put away my voodoo dolls?
Yes, please.
For you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. It's just accepting it. Both of us have to accept it, I guess. You know what I mean? It's not just me, but I'm pretty sure I'm the one that's having a harder time accepting it.
Well,
for him, it's like he has to sacrifice a lot. He's sacrificing a lot. And I gotta respect it, you know? I mean, it's duty.
duty is definitely the word for it. Duty. Duty.
He's got duty.
You got duty.
Yeah.
When you gotta do a duty, you gotta do a duty.
He had to go and do his duty. You know, and I can't blame him for it. And sometimes I think it's easier to hate somebody than it is to be like, oh, okay, well, I wish you luck. But anyway, it's all the stupid songs. And you're right, you know what I mean? Like, the world does tell you, there's that whole, like, love conquers all thing. Like, all you need is love. You know, and you're always kind of, if it's true love, then nothing can stop it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's love will always prevail. And, like, honestly, up until now, I never thought something like this would happen to me. I never thought it was possible. I just thought, like, wow, if you find someone who loves you and you love and who you want to build a life with and you want to devote yourself fully and they want to devote themselves fully, nothing can stop that. But that's not true. Sometimes love isn't enough.
We're also kind of told that love is like the central thing, like romantic love is the thing. And you've got to, if you don't have that bucket full, then the other ones don't even matter. And what I realized lately was that your life is kind of like an investment portfolio. You've got all these different things that you can invest your energy and your time in. You've got your career and you've got your friendships and you've got your hobbies and you've got your love of nature and you've got, you know, pets or whatever your particular spread of things that make you happy is. And what we've been trapped into doing, and I've certainly been guilty of this myself, is we see only that one bit of our portfolio as the important part. And so we keep taking resources out of the other investments to throw in that one. And in my personal case, that's never been the part of my portfolio that's paid off for me. And I've sabotaged myself because I've taken my investment material out of my family. I've taken it out of my friendships. I've taken it out of my personal growth. I've taken it out of my hobbies, my love of reading time. I've taken from all those things that actually were paying off and making me happy, and I kept dumping in this one bad investment over and over. And eventually I just decided that for me, I'm just not going to worry about those investments for a while. I'm not investing in that. And I'm not saying, oh, I don't believe in love, I'm anti this, I'm anti that. I'm saying for me, my resources are better invested in those areas that have paid off for me. And so I've just taken a step back and I've made myself romantically retired. I'm not, quote, celibate. I'm not alone. I'm romantically retired because that's just, I don't need that drama. I don't need that stress. I got other stuff that I'm enjoying right now. And, but don't be taking things out of your other investments because you think romantic love is somehow more important than all those other things. You got to spread it around and diversify your portfolio. If that part's not paying off, you got all these other things that'll pay off if you'd stop, sucking everything out of it. Does that make sense?
Yes. As always, you're like, I'm always amazed at how smart and perceptive and just
It's actually really amazing how I can be so smart and so perceptive and still so fucked up. I don't know how I do it.
it's always that has always amazed me too, Brooks. Like from day one, I'm like, wow, this girl is smart and perceptive, and she gets shit, and she's fucked up.
It's
Just
true.
like me.
That's because I give all my advice away.
Well, it's hard to give yourself advice because you're not objective.
It's true.
You're so smart, Brookie. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
All that snot must be wonderful for your complexion because you're glowing right now. Yes.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah. Think of it. Like, even with the cool lotion tissues, I think my nose is like getting all chapped and whatever. I can look like this, whatever.
You were very proud of that ugly cry that time. Remember? When you had an ugly cry. What was that show that you were in that you had an ugly cry for?
Showtime. It was
It was Showtime, yeah. Yeah, you were not ashamed of your snot then.
No, that was a pretty cool. That was pretty. I was pretty excited about it then. I was like,
Yeah.
it's my snot. Whoa.
That's right. That's right.
Right. True. Well, thank you. Let's talk again soon.
Okay. All right. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Love you.
Bye.